kids are back to school, the rain has visited with a vengeance, and the weekend is upon us. So it's time for a wee bit of fun and banter and a few ideas and possibilities for the weekend. It's Something for the Weekend with me, Stephen Day.
Me, Fiona Scott.
And me, Ellis Butcher.
Hello, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It is. And Stevie's put pressure on us right from the start by saying we're going to have fun.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. I also mentioned weekend so many times I should really look at my script before I read it, shouldn't I?
I didn't notice that. I was worried about the fun.
No Kathy this week, because Kathy's on her holidays, which is all right. We let her out occasionally, don't we?
Granny Griffiths.
Granny Griffiths. Oh.
Kissing babies and looking after, what was his name? Was it Theodore?
Ted, yeah.
Theodore.
It's Nana Van, it's official. She posted on Facebook.
Nana
Did
Van.
she?
Nana Van, yeah.
I love that. And that's named after Kathy's Scooby-Doo mobile, isn't it?
Ellis, I don't feel like I've spoken to you forever. How are you doing?
I can't smile wide enough, Stevie, you know me. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a different kind of atmosphere again. We've got a few more people coming back to work, and I've noticed the town is getting busier and busier. Is that just me, or is that really happening?
No, I wouldn't.
No, that's right. Yeah, Ellis and I do a recce on a Wednesday. We go for coffee, purely in the name of work. You know, just to see who's all going about and how busy the town's getting. But yeah, it is. It's looking good.
But there again, it is, late August. I think this is going to be a flurry, isn't it, now? Because I think people have been locked up and they're desperate to have a break before you know what sets in for another 10 months, winter.
But the rain, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And everybody's obviously not had a chance to take holidays yet this year, so they're all rushing to do so when the weather's reasonably nice. We're getting the odd horrible day, but on the whole, it's been good.
And we can include Fiona in the rush to get holidays, can't we? Because Fiona's up on her jolly bobs again.
No, you've got me next week, and then I'm gonna. Well, I hope so, or else you and Stevie's gonna be sitting on your toads next Friday, doing something for the weekend.
Just think of the possibilities.
Oh.
I actually went into the town last weekend and sat and did the touristy thing. I sat on a pier and I watched the world go by. And that was great fun, just to see how many people were about and really enjoying themselves.
Yeah, Saturday was a lovely day too, wasn't it? It was just a perfect day for sitting on the pier watching the world go by.
But I did realise that because of COVID and all the lockdowns, something I haven't been doing for a long time is taking photos. I don't know how that is for the rest of you, but you know me, I love my camera, I love my phone. But I've missed out so much of this year of scenery and sunsets and changing seasons just purely because of lockdown. Has that been the same for you two?
Not really. My photography's changed in a way, rather than doing, like you said, scenery or travelling about. I've taken it doing more wildlife because I kind of thought during lockdown that I was seeing more. I think it was quieter, so I've got a camera now full of buzzards, which I keep thinking are eagles, and then when I zoom in on them, they're not. And sheep, cattle, rabbits. So yes, I've been out doing that, which I wouldn't normally do. It's been quite nice.
Have they all fled then, the wildlife that you used to see as the traffic has come back and the people has come back?
I don't know. I can't make up my mind whether I noticed more wildlife because there wasn't as much noise and I could hear things and look to see where the noise was coming from and see what it was. Whereas when there's more traffic going about, I think the wildlife's still there, but because you're not hearing it, you're not as aware of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But there was that period, wasn't there, during lockdown where everybody was saying that they could hear birdsong for the first time properly because there wasn't as many cars around, and that wildlife seemed to be getting more kind of brave and sort of emerging more in a way that it didn't when there was lots of people around. And I just wondered, maybe some of our listeners, Stevie, might be able to drop us a line on that.
They could email somethingfortheweekend@opentimes.co.uk. Maybe send us some photos.
It'd be lovely to see some photos. What people have been taking photographs of during lockdown.
Now, Ellis, answer this question carefully. What have you been taking photos of?
Well, I went out too. I finally got my battery going in the car because my battery was flat. And my neighbour very kindly had this special gadget for apparently 80 quid. Dead simple. It's just like a big battery pack and you stick the clippers on. Whammy, you're away. So I give it a run out and I went to Port Appin for the first time, which was really nice. And again, there was quite a lot of people around. It was a little bit hazy for photography, I've got to be honest. But wow, what a view you can get across there, can't you? Towards, is it Castle Stalker?
Castle Stalker and
Yeah.
Yep. And Shuna and Lismore.
That's it. And I think at a certain time of the day, whether it's sort of before dawn or towards sunset, I bet you could get some cracking pictures if you ventured a little bit onto the beach. I was just, as someone new to the area, you kind of sort of inch around cautiously. Really, I don't want to start traipsing across farmers' fields and down places that I shouldn't be going. So I maintained a respectful distance. But you go around every corner here, and there's just something else to just lift the spirits.
I think you're right about the changing atmosphere. Because if you go and down to Stalker from various angles at different times of the day, even on the same day, you can get completely different photos.
It does just look a fascinating place. I'm really looking forward to getting out this weekend if I can, and that the weather's kind enough to get, like Stevie suggests, doing some more photography. But it's obviously you've got to try and get out at the golden hour, really, first thing in the morning or kind of towards the end of the day, because anything else, really, it tends to, I'm no expert, but it does tend to fog up the pictures somewhat and make it a little bit, not blurry, but, not as crystal clear as it could be.
And I think the weather may not be helping this weekend, but certainly it's on one of my lists of things to do for a weekend, whether it's this weekend or not, is to get back out with my camera.
What is the forecast this weekend?
It's a bit mixed.
Saturday is, marked for rain up until sort of 1 o'clock. And then we've got rain and sun. That's what's showing on the weather forecast. And Sunday, well, that's kind of more cloudy. And then sun from about 4 o'clock, but with a bit of cloud. I mean, as they always say in these weather forecasts, take an umbrella and sun cream.
Thank you,
yes.
Thank you, John Ketley.
You're very welcome.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I just wanted to know because I'm going to a boat launch on Saturday morning. It's a bit disappointing. It's going to be raining, but I'm sure it'll be good anyway.
What boat are you launching?
Well, I'm going down to Crerrin, where Alutech Marine Limited are to launch their new passenger boat. She's called the Sula 3. So it's just a passenger, 63 passenger boat, 13 metres long. And she's going to be going down to North Berwick, I believe, to take tourists out day trips to the Bass Rock. But they've been working away on that. It's all local workers down there. I haven't ventured down yet, but I'm really looking forward to see what they've done and maybe get a wee look at the boat.
Do you think they'll let you drive it?
No. No, if they've seen me driving on the road, nobody'd let me need a boat.
The sea is a bit wider.
Yeah. Yeah, you still to be aware of everything round about you, which I'm not very good at. I tend to go off in a daze.
Have you done any sailing, Stevie?
No, I'm a kayak man. I like my sit-on kayaks. I never got the hang of the wind and the sail, not without hitting my head, certainly. So canoes and kayaks, definitely my thing.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be people out there that have sailed for years and that don't think anything of it, but it's a lot more complicated than it looks, isn't it? Because I remember looking into some of the warning signals that recently that you're supposed to make, and just even them, it's sort of 3 whistles for this and 2 whistles for that and 4 on, with a certain spacing. And I'm sorry, but I just don't have the memory for things like that. So I don't think I'm ever going to get my sea legs as a captain
I'm in awe of sailors, I have to say. And when
In awe?
in awe of sailors, I think
As
they
in O-A-R?
when Oban
Awesome.
when Oban Sailing Club is open, and you see all these people from aged, I don't know, tiny to much older, and they just effortlessly seem to be able to navigate their boats and swing around and so on. It's just fantastic, and it's maybe something you should look into, Ellis, when it's all starting up again. Get yourself down to the sailing club, have a wee go.
But I'm just, I don't know what it is. I think it's a brain thing. It's how your brain processes information. I just don't think, that's my skill set. It's the same with motorbikes. There was nothing that I would love more than having a big motorbike, but I just couldn't trust myself because I don't think I've got the attention span for it. And I think you do need the attention span for it. And it's the same with sailing. You do need to be able to retain and remember stuff, important things while you're out there. I'm not entirely convinced that I would. I'd be like, oh yeah, look at that lovely island. Oh, look at that lighthouse. The mind would drift. I did have an incident on Lake Windermere a few years ago, which put me off as well, where there was nearly a collision with a ferry. So that's the backdrop of this uncertainty.
You never know, because this week you're seeing the move to bring driverless cars into the equation, so we might get driverless boats as well eventually.
I'm not sure about this driverless car thing. The fact that you have to be able to take over at an instant's notice surely kind of defeats the point of having driverless cars and hands-free driving, I think they were calling it. Yeah, I'm not too sure about them either, but I'm sure 40 years ago people were saying, they weren't too sure about automatic cars or, loads of other things, and it's all worked out fine. Microwave ovens, not too sure about that. No homes without them now.
I've not got one in my new flat.
You don't have a microwave?
No, I don't have a microwave. It's almost like I'm rejecting modern day society. I don't have a TV, don't have a microwave. Partly the microwave one is because there's not a great deal of room, and it would involve putting a shelf up. And I don't fancy doing that. So no, I've not got a microwave.
So how do you make your chicken ping?
Chicken ping?
Yeah, you can't make chicken ping if you haven't got a microwave.
Tell me more, chicken ping.
Well, you put your chicken in, turn the timer, and wait till it pings. Ellis, really?
I have to order in my chicken ping. I've never heard of chicken ping. It's fantastic.
Anyway, moving on, because
Swiftly on.
Because Stevie's told us what a rubbish weekend it's going to be for weather, more or less. What are we going to be doing inside? Stevie, you were looking at some films again, weren't you?
Well, I was looking at films. I mean, again, it's not something I can do instantly. I was looking at the site rottentomatoes.com, and their 57 most anticipated movies of 2020. Now, I don't think they've updated this properly because not all of them have come out. With the cinema opening, we have things like Wonder Woman 1984 to look forward to. Is
that the old one that we used to watch when we were young, or is it a remake?
Well,
Linda Carter, wasn't it? Was it Linda Carter?
Yeah.
That's what she was called.
Well, they made a film.
She was gorgeous.
A couple of years ago, which was Wonder Woman, and that was their reboot. This is the second one in the franchise.
Oh.
Right.
You sound so disappointed, Ellis.
I don't like it when they remake them. They just I don't know. I
worth
like the original.
It's worth a watch. The original.
Is it?
Well, their rebooted film. I would give it a go.
I'm always consistently disappointed when I watch the remake of something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm still scarred by Dad's Army.
What, did they remake that?
They did. They did.
They?
Yeah, they did.
What, a TV show? Or a film?
Yep.
For the film?
Yeah, see.
Yeah. So Toby Jones was Captain Mannering. You had Bill Nye as Sergeant Wilson for a kickoff. It kind of worked-ish, sort of, but Fiona's obviously feeling that it desecrated a memory, didn't it?
I couldn't, and it did have some good actors in it and whatnot, but no, I just couldn't. You'll never get the characters, like they were
No.
when
The thing is,
John LeMajor and Ian Lavender and co.
these things have a spirit, don't they? That's what makes them successful. They have something happens between these people at a certain time that makes these shows, and it was the same with Fawlty Towers. That there's a kind of spirit to them that you can't put in a bottle and bring out 25 years later, I'm afraid. And I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. They're driven by some kind of sort of creative magic or some kind of personality
It's the character. It's the characters.
It is. You can't repackage it and stick it out 25 years later and say, oh, yeah, this is what it's like now.
Okay, well, my next choice is probably not going to go down well either. This year, we've also got Death on the Nile, which is a Hercule Poirot film, and I don't know if you saw the first one with Kenneth Branagh, but this is the second one. So he's back with his amazing moustache. Did you see the first Kenneth Branagh one?
I didn't, but I'm not a big Poirot fan at all.
Agatha Christie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read the books. I've read some of the books.
I find Poirot too smug for my liking.
You may find Kenneth Branagh even smugger. So maybe we're not doing well with my two films. Okay, how about
but that is how the character is drawn, isn't it? She did create, Agatha Christie purposely created this guy that was kind of a little bit offbeat and dare I say, with his nose in the air a little bit. But that was the idea of the character. He wasn't supposed to be.
I'm sure Suchet played him brilliantly. It's just I don't like the character.
Well,
I'm like that about a lot of things. I couldn't stand The Great Gatsby because I just hate that period in time.
The Roaring Twenties.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I just never got into that.
I couldn't. I tried to read The Great Gatsby, and I just couldn't. Generationally, it was too long ago for me. I couldn't associate with that period of time, which meant I really struggled with the book.
But I mean, I read a lot. I can't say that because I read a lot of Tudor stories and historical novels, but maybe the 20s just isn't historical enough for me.
20s in America, I suppose. It was just a totally different time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Stevie, we've swerved away from your cinema recommendations.
My list of films
Stevie.
aren't going very well. You should Google Kenneth Branagh as Poirot just to see his moustache.
Poirot, correct me if I'm wrong, he's supposed to be Belgian, isn't he?
He is, yes.
Yes.
See, why hasn't there been some outrage that Poirot should be played by a Belgian actor, not an English actor?
There we go, the muscles from Brussels playing Poirot.
Yeah, because that's the only Belgian actor I know.
I would definitely watch that if they had Jean-Claude Van Damme cast as Poirot, beat everybody up. That is what they needed to do.
That's maybe what they need to do with these remakes, like Dad's Army. Don't try and make the characters like they were in the originals.
Yeah.
Find people that are so far removed
the
from
antithesis of who the character's supposed. That would be great. Death on the Nile. Jean-Claude Van Damme charging through a carriage, throwing bad guys out of the windows. I would actually genuinely go and see that.
I'm thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger as Captain Mannering. Your name will also go on the list. What is it? Don't tell him, Pike. Right, I'm not doing well. Black Widow. Do you know who Black Widow is?
Nope, sorry.
Okay, Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
She met her end in that film, but she's back, I think, as a prequel. I can tell from the gasps at the other end that's not going to go down well.
But this idea that they bring out a film where she dies, and then a year later, whatever it is, they bring out a film which is set before the one that she died in. I'm sorry, I just can't keep up with that. She's either dead or she isn't. Why didn't they bring out the prequel before the one she died in?
Because then it wouldn't be a prequel. It'd be the original.
See, all this sort of jumping back in time, it's like the sailing. I couldn't keep up with it mentally.
Okay, next film.
Sorry, Stevie.
The next film I hope you're going to like. So this is meant to be out in November. No Time to Die, and that's Daniel Craig's last outing as James Bond. Are we looking forward to that?
You see, I don't do Bond either.
Are you looking forward to it, Stevie? We've been very critical of the films that you propose.
I am looking
You
forward to it.
tell us about Bond.
I've always liked Daniel Craig and Bond. I mean, there's been some good films and some bad films. I hope that they give him a good send-off, because I think he deserves it. I think he's worked blooming hard as James Bond, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
How many has he done, roughly? Is it about 5?
4, I think.
Right.
4, maybe 5. Definitely 4.
Who did the most?
Roger.
There's my research not done.
It's got to be Roger, hasn't it?
I just thought Roger.
I think Roger Moore. Maybe maybe someone could email us at somethingfortheweekend@opentimes.co.uk and tell us.
Yes, help us out, folks.
Help us out, please. Okay, my last film. All right, and please don't tell me you haven't heard of these characters. And at some point in your lives, you've probably enjoyed it, but you're going to tell me you don't want this remake. But opening on December the 23rd, it's a new Tom and Jerry movie. I kid you not. It's a new animation where Jerry moves into a hotel on the eve of a big wedding and forces the wedding planner to bring Tom in to get rid of him. But there's an even bigger threat emerges, and Tom and Jerry must work together to save the day. That's out in December. Does that sound good?
Now, are they going to speak?
I don't know.
Oh, they will, won't they?
Because if they're not speaking, then that one might be okay. But if they are speaking...
How do you drag out a cartoon where it basically involves a cat and a mouse hitting each other with saucepans for an hour and a half?
I don't know. I think there have been worse premises for a film.
But what I don't like about this one is it sounds like they're trying to sort of soften it a little bit, where Tom and Jerry work together in the end to help out. Sorry, Tom and Jerry just absolutely would not do that. Mice don't like cats, and cats don't like mice. So the setup fails as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
I should go into Hollywood movies, shouldn't I? Be this cigar-smoking producer that rejects everything.
So now Ellis is saying Tom and Jerry wouldn't work.
Not where they get together in the end and start helping each other. Oh, come on.
Well, anyway, that is my list of films, and I will continue to research probably over the weekend to see what else I'm going to be able to see at the cinema when it opens. And it's opening soon.
Well, we shall do the same, Stevie, and we'll try and find some films that we do actually like. There's a challenge.
Be a little bit more positive about Stevie's suggestions.
Yeah.
I thank you, Stevie, for your suggestions.
But I
I'm
utterly
sorry that
reject them.
We have been so negative. So on that bombshell, here at the Open Times, we're always happy to hear from you. So stay in touch, tell us your stories, keep sharing your photographs. You can call us on 01631 568 000. You can email somethingfortheweekend@opentimes.co.uk, or you can message us on Facebook. As always, you can read all of our stories for free online, or you can pick up a copy at the OT from supermarkets, newsagents and petrol stations. And to get the page-turning digital edition of the Open Times, you can still subscribe now and get 3 months for a discounted price of just £4.80. So that's all we've got for this weekend. We thought we'd given you lots of ideas. Thank you to Stevie and thank you to Fiona for this week. And it's goodbye from me, Ellis Butcher.
Goodbye from me, Fiona Scott.
And goodbye from me, Stephen Day.